Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and with me for today's show is the new athletic director for the Williamson County School District, Jeremy Qualls. Welcome, Jeremy, to Williamson County.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Let's just start with you. Where you grew up, where you went to high school at, college, and what have you been doing all these years prior to this new AD position?
Well, I was born and raised in Hickman County over in Centerville, and I graduated from Hickman County High School in 1996. Played basketball at Austin P under Dave Luce from 96 to 2000. Had the opportunity to see a lot of people, a lot of venues that you always see on TV. I had an opportunity to play with Trenton Hassel, who's a 12-year veteran of the NBA. He's now recently retired. And so that experience alone was fantastic. But fresh out of college, I coached 1 year for I was assistant coach at Northeast High School under Al Cooper, and then after that, I had the opportunity to be a head coach at Marshall County High School in Lewisburg, and I coached there for 5 years. Met my wife there. And left after Marshall County. Had an opportunity to coach in West Tennessee at Lexington High School, and I was the men's basketball coach there at Lexington for 2 years. And then I got into the administration side of things, and I was assistant principal and athletic director there, and then went to Milan Elementary for a year, and then I got offered a job back in my hometown after I swore I would never go back at Hickman County Middle School, and I've been the principal there prior to getting this job. So I've kind of made a full circle of things, and it's been a good journey. I've seen both sides of the athletic side of coaching and the administration side, and like I said, I met my wife in Lewisburg. We've been married for 10 years. We have 2 children. Major is 6, Murphy is 3, and we have a newborn going to be here in September.
Oh, so, congratulations!
Yeah, so.
Going to be a real busy time for you here pretty soon.
So I've got a new job, a new baby, and some other things going on. So it's been a busy time, but it's been very exciting, and I'm gracious to be here.
Well, I can tell you right now, our audience has got a big upgrade from you coming in here with a coat and tie and a shirt like that, because in the 4 years that I've been doing this job, they never saw me like that. Now, I guarantee you that now.
Well, it's like we were talking beforehand. We've been so busy, we hadn't had an opportunity to meet, so I didn't know exactly the level I should come in at. So maybe I should, let's say that it could go only backwards from here since we started up high. So,
well, let's start back. You said something about Lexington. What year was it you finished up at Lexington?
I was at Lexington from 2007, if I think I did my math right here, 2006, 2007, 2008.
Okay. So, well, I was at Page High School as a head football coach back then. We played Lexington in the playoffs.
Steve Lindsay, by chance, was the head coach then?
No, I don't think it was Steve.
It
might have been
Brian Hollingsworth.
Brian.
Yeah, so Brian came in the last year that I was coaching there. Steve stepped down and became assistant principal at the high school. He's now principal at the high school.
Okay.
And yeah, Brian. I worked with Bryant and DeWan and all those guys at Lexington.
Well, now in being the athletic director for all of Williamson County, our county's had a lot of success in many sports. Volleyball, we have several state championships. Have you got any background in volleyball, Coach?
Have not coached. I love to watch, but I don't have any coaching experience.
Well, my only experience with coaching volleyball was when I was an AD, and we had a little problems with one of our coaches, and I ended up having to go to a junior varsity volleyball tournament, and I had to be their coach all day for like 8 hours. So that was my experience with volleyball. So when you bring these volleyball coaches up here and start interviewing them, you know, you'll have to probably go back to your rules books or something like that to find these questions like that. But we have cross-country state champions. We have soccer boys and girls state championships. You know, the only thing that we don't have here recently that I'm trying to keep up with, we don't have any basketball state champions. And basketball is your forte now.
It is. Franklin High School has the only state championship in the system. I think it was 1989 when Kevin Anglin played, because that was one of the first questions I'd ask, and Toby and those guys out at Franklin were quick to tell me that they have the only go ball, and they're happy and prideful of that. Basketball is kind of funny. With football, a lot of times the championships flow from the east side of the state. Basketball is predominantly West, with here in the last few years, of course, with the emergence of CPA and some other middle Tennessee teams. But Memphis, Jackson teams are extremely hard to beat. And, it's one of those deals where we have to have a special team. And as far as I know at this point in time, I know that right now that Coach King out at Brentwood has had a really, really good summer. And Whitlock had a good summer with Ravenwood as well. And all those guys have had good summers, but I understand that Brentwood High went 27-1 this summer. So we're expecting hopefully some special things there. But it's really difficult. The athletic ability that comes through the west side of the state is just phenomenal. I realized real quick when I was the head coach at Marshall County and I made the jump over to Lexington that Middle Tennessee basketball and West Tennessee basketball was two different things. And it's just every night. For instance, in the district I was in Lexington, 4 of the 6 last state championships when I was there currently had come out of that district, not that area, that district. Bolivar had won back-to-back. Liberty Tech had won back-to-back. And it's just any given night you play a Jackson Southside, a Liberty Tech, a Fayette Ware, Dyer County. It's just you better pack a lunch. So it was difficult to get a lot of wins. I was happy at how we did that final year I was there. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Every given night that you played, we had people packing a gym because there was some college talent on the floor. And it was exciting to be in that venue. It wasn't exactly exciting to be in there if you were on a lopsided loss. But if you were in the game competitive or even won, which we did, it was extremely, extremely fun. So that's one thing we have to look at. Now, in the last 2 to 3 years, Rutherford County has had some strong teams.
Football, basketball, all up down the line.
They have, and they've got some tremendous athletes. They have a good core of coaches over there. I know firsthand, like Barry Wortman at Blackman, who won the boys this year. Barry was at Hickman County and won the girls state championship at Hickman County. And he is a fantastic coach. He coached in the OVC at Morehead State against Austin Peay back a few years ago, and he does a good job. And the girls over in Murfreesboro right now are just unbelievable with Oakland and Riverdale. So I mean, we have a few hurdles in basketball's tough. It really is. So, but I was surprised that at our Infothon this past Saturday that we have as many state championships as we do across the board. Brentwood has, I don't want to misquote this, Brentwood has 52 since 80 or 1982, around that range?
Team championships are probably getting close to that, yeah, because they were in the 40s going into this past year.
So that's impressive.
And they lead as far as the public schools statewide as far as team championships in the state of Tennessee.
So from A to Z, all sports, when you encompass all sports, I feel like Williamson County is pretty stout. But you kind of people start hanging your hat on your bigger sports. How many football, how many basketball do you have? But from A to Z, Williamson County is about second to none.
Well, now you've been on the job a couple of weeks. Kind of tell us what you've been doing here these first 2 weeks.
Well, I'm still learning. I just learned where the copy machine was yesterday. I've been here 2 weeks, and it hit the ground running. And that's the way I am, and I like it. I like that way. This is for everybody in the audience. This is the first time that me and you've gotten to meet because you've been so busy with football, and we've been busy putting together the Infothon and doing some odds and ends. It's been crazy, but that's the way I like it. We've the things that I've been doing the last 2 weeks, like I said, is getting everybody set up for the Infothon that happened this past week. And I can't say enough about our athletic directors and assistant principals and coaches that came out from every high school, from every middle school. We had a representation there from each school, and it was fantastic on the hour, every hour. And they really helped me out on that. And I've been looking at supplements. We've been having the August 5th deadlines coming up for supplements. Had a meeting this morning dealing with the PE portion of the job, dealing with professional development. How well you know that? Yeah,
talk a little bit about that on the PE part of it.
Well, we've got our new teacher hire professional development coming up this week. We got about 3 days to finish up that. So I've been meeting with veteran teachers about getting and presenting and doing some things and showing those new guys some policies and procedures of how to do day-to-day things, just to help out any of those people new to WCS coming in saying, hey, how do we handle PE there? And then next week we have our system-wide. So I look forward to meeting everybody and putting some things in place there for those folks too.
Well, having sitting in that job for the last 4 years, and you probably don't know this yet, but a lot of your ADing job, part of it, is going to be with our middle schools. And we have our own association here. Right. It's called the WMAA. And they have their own bylaws and constitutions. And so I would say 70–75% of all my calls and emails I got came from the middle schools. Have you heard from any of them yet?
I have, actually. The ones that came from were from middle school, and they were eligibility questions dealing with academics, finishing the last school year, going into this school year, dealing with football. But yeah, I can see that being a bulk of the calls, and I looked over the bylaws and looked over all that, and everybody has been very helpful and positive so far from the middle school level about working with me on that. So that's going to be a little bit of a learning curve of getting those bylaws that are maybe separate and with conjunction with the TWSAA laws, and making sure everything is juggling that. How well you know, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. Well, what I found is that you are the disciplinary action for the middle school coaches. I mean, you're the guy that will be suspending coaches if they mess up on those bylaws, not the TWSAA,
right?
Because none of our schools belong to them in the middle school association. And I know also that the middle school seasons are 4 and not 3. Something I've tried to get changed over the years, but the principals like it this way because they don't do any overlapping with their sports. So they can use their coaches. I mean, they got coaches that do all 4 seasons, and they have a hard time finding coaches and that kind of thing. So we have a great bunch of ADs in the middle school, and they'll give you all kinds of input when you have your fall meeting and your spring meeting and that. But as far as plans going forward in what you see and vision for Williamson County athletically, we got a couple of minutes here left.
Sure.
Kind of give us an idea.
Well, I really want to, one project I've got, and I need to meet once again, and this will be finalized once I meet with coaches and ADs one more time. You know, I want everybody's input, and the ideas I may have may be a good one or it may be a bad one. That's okay. It's kind of part of the process. One thing that I have in place, a project that I really want to move forward with, is creating a WCS app, a sports app, purely for the system for high school and middle school sports. So this person in the community that may not have a kid in the system that doesn't know pretty much what's going on, that says, you know what, let's go to a football game tonight on any given Friday night. They can download this app, and it'll have every school schedule on there and turn-by-turn directions if it's a away game. I want to have kind of a live update, close game alerts, notifications that they can get on their phone, and we want to do coaching bios on there. We want to do spotlight some kids on there, if they've done well, players of the week, etc. All that done from your phone. I mean, we live in that kind of society right now that if we want to find something out, we pull out our phones.
Sounds like a great idea, and I think it's a thing that our community would they would take up and they'd run with that because they'd love. We're technology savvy for sure. Well, I tell you what, we're going to close out this first segment right now, and we'll come back in just a little bit. Thank you for joining us in this first segment. Stay tuned for the second segment of today's show of the Williamson County Sports Connection.
Come on out to this year's Williamson County Fair, August 1st through the 9th, to celebrate our 10th anniversary. There will be plenty of activities, including pageants, 4-H events, performances by Sean Clush and Cody Ray Slaughter, the return of Grand Ole Country Night, and much more. Tickets for adults are $6, tickets for children ages 6 through 12 are $3, and anyone under the age of 6 gets in for free. Make sure you come out to this year's Williamson County Fair. This is an experience you don't want to miss.
Hello, welcome back to Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm District Level Athletic Director Jeremy Qualls, and I have changed seats with my counterpart, Mr. Jack Daniels, Coach. It's kind of funny to be on this side, and this is my very first show here, and I just want to know, what are some anticipated hurdles that this job has?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeremy, when I went to central office, you don't have as much close contact definitely with kids anymore. But the parents, they'll still call you. But you get it countywide now. I mean,
Right.
you'll have some parents that come in with some now questions in general about you know, different schools and that kind of stuff. But also problems do come up, and parents are concerned, and they want to have ear to voice their opinions to. And so that seat, you know, that you're sitting in, you're going to have an opportunity to get to continue to do that. I always tried to go back to the local AD and, you know, just try to get everything going back to the school and get their communication going back in a positive manner as much as possible. But you can't make everybody happy in some of the decisions that you're going to be making. Of course, the main thing you're going to try to do is try to be there for your ADs at the high school level and the middle school level. When they've got problems and concerns, they're going to come to you. You try to find those answers out at the high school level with TSSAA. Make sure they're not making mistakes. Again, back with the middle schools, with the WMAA, make sure they're following all the bylaws and guidelines for that. And then, you know, as far as the PE part of it, that was kind of new to me. I was only in that position for this past year, and I know they want that position to grow. And I'm sure they probably have talked to you about, you know, expanding out on, you know, our PE departments, K through 12 in the county.
Well, I am a former PE teacher. I'm far removed from the classroom, but it's just like a bicycle, you know, once you get back
Sure.
on, you can remember. But somebody asked me the other day what the biggest pro of the job and the biggest con of the job was. And the negative that I see, or I can perceive to be, is I'm a hands-on person. Always been a coach at heart, always want to be hands-on with the kids and whatnot. And as a principal, I loved to go in and sit down at in the classrooms as teaching is going on and learning is happening, and asking the kids at that level what's going on. Teach me, show me. And I think the hardest part of this job probably will be how far you are away from the actual relationships that you can occur with the kids. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going from one school with 420 kids, 25 certified personnel, to 41 schools, 35,000, and that's going to be pretty hard. Mm-hmm. And especially on the athletic level, you got 17 schools that have athletics going on, and all the coaches that those missing pieces of the puzzle. And it's going to be really hard to have a relationship with kids, but I want to get out to practices, because that makes me feel like I'm a part of that coaching circle still, and let people know that I'm there to help them, not only on the coaching side, but as a support from the administration side of incurring those rules and bylaws and helping them find out answers.
Mm-hmm. And also with the PE responsibilities, you'll have an opportunity to get into the classrooms with your PE teachers, again, from the K through all the way up through 12, and sit in on classes and do some observations with them. And there's so many of them, though, you won't probably get to hit every school more than twice throughout the course of the year, but because of other obligations that you do have. But that does tie you back in with the kids in some activities. And I enjoyed the elementary part of it, because I was never involved with elementary. I've always been high school. Mm-hmm. And getting in and watching the elementary PE teachers, I was just amazed on how they kept the attention span, because I'm really not good with that age group level. I think it would probably drive me batty if I had to work with them day in, day out. But watch our elementary teachers, and the job they did in the classroom was just amazing. You have a great bunch to work with.
Well, I've had the opportunity to actually teach PE on all three levels.
Okay.
And being an administrator on all three levels, and it's kind of funny how the dynamic shifts. As an administrator, I'm a high school guy. Coach high school all the way through, and I really like the high school level. But teaching PE specifically, there's nothing better than elementary, because when you walk in, it doesn't matter what activity you have planned, you are a rock star and a hero. Mm-hmm. And you know, we're going to play this today, and they're giving high fives and yes and fist bumping. But when you're on the high school level, and we're going to come in with that same enthusiasm and say, hey, we're going to do this today, and they're all like, really? I have to go change clothes. I have to get sweaty. You know, they're a little older. They're too cool to do that. But that's part of the dynamic. And good high school PE teachers are hard to come by. To
right.
keep kids engaged, to keep kids enthusiastic on that level to do so. And I've met some really good folks already, and look forward to that part of the job of getting in there and watching the kids in the PE side.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do also know that there are probably some hurdles that we need to climb in the PE end of it at the high school level. One of the things, and I'll pass this on to you, as far as when I look at our state curriculum, approved curriculum, there wasn't enough that the state has already approved for our high school. You know, I think you have a PE1 and a PE2 in wellness, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You know, and you get in the fine arts, they've got like 6 and 7, 8 classes of piano playing and, you know, band and all that kind of stuff. So I was always trying to communicate with the State Department about trying to get more statewide courses approved instead of having to fill out waivers to get our weights and kinesiology class. You know, that was a class that David Heath, when he was the principal at Brentwood High School, I came in '97. We didn't have that, and I worked with David. David helped me out, and we got the weights and kinesiology started in Williamson County schools back then. And I think it's very having a big advantage for our student athletes to be able to get credit and do some of their weightlifting during the school day. Also, because we ask so much of them after school and after school hours, and then the academics are so strong here in Williamson County. And you know, our county has done a good job of getting that approved each year through the waiver through the state of Tennessee.
Well, how well you know, as from the coaching side of things, that we coach for the love. Mm-hmm. It's not for the money. Never has been for the money. Our thing of choice is winning, and winning is something that is infectious to us, that it takes the place of money, and more importantly, time. Time is worth more than money when you're coaching, and any opportunity that we have to possibly do a weight training within school hours and get credit and do it properly is worth its weight in gold, because if we don't do that during school hours, we have to come in directly after school hours and spend an hour or more than an hour just doing the weightlifting side versus going straight into practice. So now we've possibly expanded practice another hour, and we know that the academic implications are high, the expectations are high, and the kids have to, the student athletes have a lot on their plate, because they have to maintain their grades to play, one, in a high expectation environment, and two, we have to get better as coaches and players on the drills and skills that we have to win. So we know that time is very precious in the coaching world. Mm-hmm.
You know, I had an opportunity to go down to visit Mountain Brook down outside of Birmingham, Alabama, and they're one of the most successful public schools in the state of Alabama with state championships and then also academics. So I was interested on both ends. When you have an ACT average of 26 and higher, and then the state championships that they've won in all their sports. I said, how do y'all do this? And so it's very good experience to see how they did their schedule throughout the day and how they allowed their student athletes an opportunity to get that weight training in during the school day, along with the heavy AP classes that they took. And it was a very eye-opening experience. And, you know, maybe we can move in a little bit, you know, toward that way sometime in the near future.
And I hope so. And you have to understand too, as a recruiting tool for coaches as well. Like, I'm going to go back to the salary issue. Most of the time, coaches not necessarily look at salary first. They look at schedules. Mm-hmm. Where are our athletics placed in the school day? Where are athletics after school? What kind of time frame do we have? What facilities do we have? And then it usually gets around to the financial piece, but it's usually secondary. Right. And you know, some people it is, some people it isn't. But usually, most coaches you come across will ask those questions first. Probably most importantly would be, what kind of team's coming back? Because I want to win. And then followed by, what's the schedule like? Well, how many classes do I have to teach? Do we get our team before or after school? So those things are always a topic. I think in our community right now that is a topic. I've had that actually asked about scheduling and whatnot. So that's something that we're going to have to look at in the upcoming future. Now,
another aspect that you're going to hit real quick here in the 1st of August is supplements. So you're going to broaden out through not only athletics, but academic, countywide, K through 12.
How well I've already seen that. I'm going to brag on you. Thank goodness you've got this, the formulas in place on the spreadsheets, because I don't think I could do that. But my eyes are already going cross to making sure all supplements are being paid, the right person is in there. The principals have done a good job of sending me that information. But it's a little overwhelming when you've got 41 to go through and make sure everybody's correct. So Lindsay Quirk and those have helped me. She's been tremendous on that, helping me, and I'm glad that you had that set up the way you did, because you had a good system. Thank you for doing that.
Well, I know it's going to be an ongoing throughout the course of the year for you as far as keeping up with the supplements. That's just another part of your job. Well,
that's okay, and that's the way I like to stay busy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Page football. Tell me about your role in the Page football and how we look. Look.
Well, I'm excited about being back out at Page. I was there in 2007, 8, and 9 as a head football coach, and now I'm out there helping Coach Rathbone, who's the head coach and athletic director, and I'm his offensive coordinator. I'm working with the quarterbacks, and Page football, I think we have an opportunity to maybe get some quality wins on the board this year if we can stay healthy.
So help me understand where we were last year with Page and the region that you're in and competing in, and maybe what place we were in last year coming into this year.
Page is in District 12 AA, and they're in there with CPA, who was in the state championship game in AAA last year, and they're in there with Giles County, who was in the state championship in the 4A classifications. There's only 6 teams in that district, and 2 of them played in state championship games, so it's a pretty tough district. Page ended up 5-5 in the regular season. They made the playoffs, and they got beat in the first round of the playoffs. So we're looking to go on beyond that this year.
So we have a lot of kids returning from that team from last year?
You know, I can't really answer that question because I wasn't with them last year. I just know what we have working with. We do have a senior line, offensive line this year, but we have a lot of skilled people, quarterback included, and running backs that are underclassmen. So I think we have several holes that we had to fill. I'll tell you, at the assistant position, I just coach the kids that show up at practice. I don't have to worry about the ones that aren't there anymore.
That's a little different level when you go from head to assistant. It's a little different. It's almost stress-free, maybe a little bit.
Big time. When I was an assistant at Brentwood for 3 years for Crawford, I didn't have one email or one phone call, and that was that was a very smooth 3 years there.
And that goes back to that financial thing. You almost do it for free when it's like that, right? So,
exactly.
Well, I know we look forward to seeing how Page will go this year and do this year, and we'll keep a special eye from your standpoint of making this transition. I cannot say enough. Thank you for setting the stage for me on a lot of things. I've got big shoes to fill. Everybody knows Jack, and as I make my way around and meeting people, they're all like, "Yeah, oh yeah, you're replacing Jack." So you're well respected, well loved, and I appreciate it. As we close the show out, I would feel honored to let you close this show out, as this being your final show of Williamson County Sports Connection.
Thank you for joining us for this segment of the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your ex-host. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tanir. I chose this book because the pictures are really good. This is one of my favorite pictures, and you can learn some facts about them too. This is one of my favorite facts. It tells a lot about history, and it tells you different types of countries and like cities. And like German's like friend, he really likes the sport, and he wanted German Stilson to come with him and do the race across America with him. and German Stelson wins the race.